Welcome to Becoming Untriggered, a podcast brought to you by psychodynamic coaches and parents of three, Lavinia Brown and Andrew Lynn.
Together we normalise and unpack common challenges faced by couples and parents, explore how these could be symptoms of unprocessed trauma, and support you with the tried and tested tools for you to show up as the mum or dad, partner, and person you deserve to be. Welcome to Becoming Untriggered. Today we're looking at meditation, the thing that everyone thinks they ought to be able to do, but which is actually quite hard in practice. We're going to look at why it might feel hard, how to overcome those challenges, to get the many benefits that are available if you can do it, whatever it is, right.
Meditation can be very difficult. I've had a long journey with meditation over the last 25 years and I couldn't do it for a long time. And I get emails from clients and people that say the same thing. I know I should be meditating, so I've got the right intention. I'm trying to do the right thing, but I just can't do it. I'm getting angry. I'm getting frustrated. I'm in my head. I can't quieten my thoughts. And I think the biggest problem, and we'll go into, there's lots of them, but I think the biggest problem for me is people's expectation. They believe, as I did, that if we can do this thing called meditate, find some peace for 20 minutes a day, then that's going to have a positive impact on our life. When the reality is, getting to that peace is where the work is. So people go into their body, they have an expectation of, okay, I need to be Buddha now, I need to be peaceful for 20 minutes and then I'm going to be all right. But actually, it's using meditation, it's understanding that that can't happen straight away. Understanding that you can use meditation to get to that point, but you don't start there.
To be fair, there are no realistic models of what meditation might look like as a frazzled mother of four. The only role models we have are a monk in a temple on a mountain in Nepal, or a yogi teacher cross-legged in an open-aired sala in Bali. Awesome. But no one actually tells you what it looks like to insert into your life and how hard that can be. I was the same as you. I started when I tried to start. I gave up. But I tried to start when I was 25. And one of my teachers at the time said, just start, do it for 21 days, because if you do anything for 21 days, it ends up being a habit. So here I was every single night. I'd forget to do it. So I'd usually have to do it last thing before bed. And I remember even sometimes going out in the days that I would get drunk when I was young, dying for bed, going, no, I must do my meditation, just sitting there, not really doing anything, just like ticking something off a box. Like in a way, actually, ironically, being drunk probably relaxed me sufficiently to do a little bit. But I gave up because I just felt like my brain wouldn't switch off. I had all my fears and my worries coming up. I felt like I wasn't making best use of my time. I needed to get on my to-do list. It was basically a waste of time because all it did for me was highlight or give space to my worries. And that's the last thing that I wanted. I didn't know how to get over my worries to get to this elusive holy grail of inner peace. So I completely agree with you. It's not so much that when you meditate, you find peace. You have to know to a certain degree how to calm your body down, how to quieten your mind before you can start meditating.
Yeah, so I think in some ways there's a step before meditation. So in order to get any benefit from meditation, you need to at least get into your body. You need to be embodied and find some element of consciousness and safety in that moment. And some people are too far away from that to even start meditating. If you think about a window of tolerance from like 1 to 10, ideally you're around 5, so you can take the ups and downs of life and you can meditate, you can be conscious in the middle of that zone. Some people are living on 9.5. Right? And they are just completely in their head. They're disconnected from their body. They're anxious. They're dysregulated. Like if you try and meditate from that starting point, you have zero chance. For those people, don't try and meditate to get down to number 5 to try and calm yourself. That's not a solution for you right now. There's some things that you need to do to enable yourself to have a chance of meditating. And that is just relaxing, getting in your body, doing whatever that means, whether it's connecting to nature, going for a walk, having a workout, having a sauna, whatever it is that takes you down a couple of notches. You got to try and do that. So I would suggest implementing those practices of regulation into your life before you even try and start this meditation journey.
I think that's a good idea, actually, because the time that I find it probably easiest to meditate is just after I've done yoga. That time when a teacher would recommend Shavasana, do 5 minutes of being by yourself, 1 minute, 30 seconds of being with yourself. So I think that's a good idea to do it after whatever it is that you already enjoy. I mean, I was making a joke about alcohol, but in a way, if alcohol relaxes you, if that's the only thing you have at the moment, you use it, right? I'm really big on coping mechanisms, not having any shame attached to them, however unhealthy, inverted commas, they are. Again, I'm not condoning any of these things, but eating disorders, cutting, gambling, whatever, they're not sustainable. There's no harm if they are helping you to cope. Obviously, we want to replace those with things like inner parenting, meditation, whatever it is. But if you can kind of hijack or piggyback, rather, if you can piggyback on a coping mechanism that is already helping you turn that dial on that adrenaline, why not? So I think for me, the starting point would be accepting yourself, which sounds easy. Now, what do I mean by that? It's not easy at all. For me, that started probably with accepting whatever emotion I was feeling. At the beginning, I didn't even know what emotion I was feeling. So you can kind of turn it around and say, well, are you relaxed in this moment? No, I know I'm not relaxed. Okay, cool. So you know you're not relaxed. Do you know what that feeling might be? No problem. Spend a couple of seconds observing, feeling into your being with, rather than observing. I think that word's a bit loaded as well. You know, a lot of meditation people say, oh, observe the clouds. Your feelings are like clouds, or your thoughts. Let them wash over the sky of your mind. It's quite hard to learn how to observe. So for the time being, I like the phrase of hanging out with. The emotion's there. Cool, you're not relaxed. Hang out with it. Allow it. Notice if you're judging yourself for not feeling relaxed. Are you telling yourself it's okay? Is there an inner critic in there going, you should be relaxed? Why aren't you relaxed? There's something wrong with you. You can never do anything properly. What is wrong? You're hopeless. Is that going on? And as you build that capacity to just be with your emotion, whatever it is, you don't even need to name it at this stage, you will slowly start to see there are different states. Your body will feel different. Maybe you're anxious. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you're angry. Maybe you're sad. Start there, the basics. And from there, build up to spending longer in that state without judging it or trying to numb out.
I completely agree. I think the judgment kicks in for most people in the process. You can't do this. You're not doing it right. You're getting frustrated. When actually, if you have a slightly different understanding of what you're doing in that moment, you can recognize that you're actually doing the right thing. The process is actually working. What's really helpful is if you understand what you're doing. When you meditate, you're not looking to find peace in your body. You're taking an inventory of what's there. You're like opening the door into the room that is your body. Maybe peaceful, and there's no expectation about what's there or not. You're just walking into the room. And it could be that there's anger and frustration and sadness, or it could be that there's peace there. But it's about having no expectation about what's there and no judgment about what you find in there.
I really like that analogy of the room, because the room could be a complete shit tip. It's like an attic where you've dumped all of the junk that you haven't yet got round to dealing with.
If you haven't opened that door for a while, there's probably a load of shit in there, right?
It's going to fall on top of you when you open the door, because it's like wedged up against the door. I think that's a good analogy, because that is kind of what happens. It all tumbles out. What we want to do is, when we've opened that door and things fall out, is realize that it's not going to fall out and land on you. It's not going to squash you. It's not a box. So that's where the analogy stops. It's a room full of water
It's like air. It's like
Yeah,
it
a cloud.
evaporates. It wants to leave.
Exactly.
But actually, we're the ones
Going, stop.
keeping the door locked.
So you're looking at these maybe liquid boxes and going, no way, not that one. But these feelings, thoughts, they are going to pass through you. Energy in motion. I really like that phrase. It reminds me that an emotion is not fixed. So seeing that as a fluid thing that is not going to fall on top of you and squash you. But obviously you have to try this out to see that it didn't squash you. So that means going in gently. It means doing it for 10 seconds at a time, not 20 minutes. I mean, when I think back to me trying to do it for 20 minutes, I think that's ridiculous. I think 3 minutes will help. Try familiarizing yourself with the fact that whatever is coming up in you will pass through.
And it's also about understanding that the stuff's there. So you're carrying it around. It's in the room anyway. And it's causing you pain by being there. You're not just going to have a look at this stuff for fun. It's causing you pain. It's making you dysregulated. It's causing adaptive behaviors, coping mechanisms, all this baggage you've got stored in this room. So there is an incentive to go and look for it, right? You want to go and have a look for it. And this unconscious process is running in the background of keeping the door shut, or occasionally you get triggered and the door flies open and the emotion comes out and hijacks you. But this is all going on anyway. So meditation is about opening the door when you're not triggered. By opening the door when you're not triggered, it means that there isn't a build-up. There isn't like an explosion of this emotion out. It's quite safe. Because when you get into your body and open the door, the emotion will come out in direct correlation to the safety you feel in your body. So there will never be too much, even though it might feel like it is.
Well, for me and for a lot of my clients, it's anxiety and fear and worry. That suddenly the gabbling starts and that winds up your body. It's very difficult to deal with that. So I would say my biggest tool, before you can even observe that, because that can feel like a torrent, even if you're not triggered, the pent-up worry and anxiety is kind of like a torrent energy anyway. So what I do is I focus on one of my senses. I really like focusing on the sense of hearing. You can focus on your gaze turning inwards. You can focus on what you can smell. You can focus on what you can taste. I really like focusing on the sense of hearing because in a quiet room, you start to hear a lot of noise. That's the journey that I always start on. Oh, what's that noise? Is that a car? Oh, someone's walking past. Okay, now it's silent. Is it silent? Oh, I can hear like a humming. What is that humming? Wow, silence is quite noisy. So I've still got a bit of an inner dialogue, but I'm like, yeah, I'm just commenting on the noises. But at least it keeps me fixed on the noise and the quality of the noise and what's going on in one aspect of my body. It's not letting necessarily the thoughts come in. Obviously, my thoughts come in as well, but I find it easier when you're thinking about a sense, you don't get this torrent and the thoughts will come in. But again, it's about acceptance. Let the worry express itself, but I don't have to listen. I'm just going to keep coming back to what I can hear. That's what I do.
Yeah, I think it is an important part of the process. It's almost like occupying your mind by 10%, and that keeps out the normal thoughts or the attachment. I use breath. I think a lot of people in meditation use breath. So you just concentrate in following your breath down, following it up, visualizing that part of your body where the emotion is. That's the bit that I use that kind of keeps you distracted. But you're right. All of the emotions that are in this room, number one, you've been attaching to them for the last 20 or 30 years. So it's very easy to attach. But things like overwhelm, anxiety, frustration, anger, they're like the most common ones that get attached to in the process, because overwhelm and anxiety are very easy to attach to anyway. They're kind of ones that creep up on you, and then suddenly you're overwhelmed by the situation. It's very hard to stay present. Anger and frustration, when you meet those two things in the room, what most people do is they go, oh, I'll take those. And then they go, this process isn't working. I can't meditate. I'm really frustrated with myself. I'm angry with myself. That guy told me to meditate. He's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And then basically you're in there, you're just wrestling with the anger and the frustration. Essentially, you're just keeping them in that room. I think that's the hardest part for people. They can get into the body, they can open the door, and then that process of non-attachment where you go, okay, I witness anger, but I'm not going to grab hold of that. That's not mine. I'm just going to witness it and let it go. The same with frustration. Frustration is a really hard one. Overwhelm's a really hard one because once you feel overwhelmed, you witness it in your brain with stories like, go and put the kettle on and have a cup of tea, or get a jumper, you're cold, or you need the loo. Your brain tries to save you from this overwhelm and this anxiety. And it's about, again, stepping away from that and witnessing it all.
I think that's super hard. Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think what you're saying is quite advanced. I think women, I'm going to generalize because I always do, definitely me. At the beginning, it was this for me. I now value the time that I set aside. I set a timer now for 20 minutes, but I still, after 15, sometimes I'm like, right, I'm done. Or I have this burning desire to look at the clock. And I'm like, Lavinia, it's 20 minutes. Just wait for the alarm. Just wait for the alarm. And sometimes I can't. I have to be like, right, that's enough. Can't do it for that long because that urge to be productive and to be efficient just kicks in. It's very difficult for me to tell that part to go away. Feeling relaxed isn't always something that feels like it's efficient enough. Of course it is. It's probably the most important thing I do every day. I don't have any golden nuggets of advice here. It's being able to witness, be with, accept, allow. Oh yeah, there's that part of me that doesn't want to do this. Do we really? I try and talk to it and come on, I think we can do a bit more. No, I feel kind of done now. Well, the alarm hasn't gone yet. I know, but it feels like it's nearly gone. Okay. Can we do another 3 minutes? No, I think I'm kind of done. Okay, fine. Or I'll be like, can we hang on a little bit more? I literally have like a bit of a conversation with myself.
It is really hard. It's much easier to do it in partnership with somebody else who's actually witnessing your process. But what I try and get people to do is always step above what is going on to look down on it. Like you just said, your brain's telling you to be busy, that this is a bit of a waste of time, right? All that's doing is it's shining a light on how you cope with this in your general life. So when you're feeling uncomfortable and the overwhelm's coming on, you get busy.
Yeah.
Some people will be going, just go to the gym now. I'll be saying, go to the golf course. Whatever it is. However you deal with your uncomfortable emotions will come up in your meditation process. Of course they will. And you've always got a choice in that moment. Do I listen and do it and stop? Or do I just step one step above and witness it? Oh, I see what I was trying to do there. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I don't have to do that right now.
Well, my other bit's like, who said 20 minutes? Why do we need 20 minutes?
Yeah.
10's fine.
Yeah,
3
3 minutes is
fine.
great. You've done enough.
Yeah, that's what I get. You've done enough. You're really relaxed now. Come on.
Sounds like me on the treadmill. I'm like that after 3 minutes. 3 minutes is great. Just do interval training. Have a rest.
So basically we're saying it's really difficult. And I don't think that any meditation guru would say that it's not. Back to actually this archetypal meditator that we have, this picture. Just want to say, most of them don't have kids. Most of them have multiple hours at their disposal to get good at this. And let's face it, most monks that do only this, they do it literally from when they wake up to when they go to bed for years. So, we're trying to compare ourselves to someone that has no distractions and doesn't have worries like what's in the fridge. They get cooked for. We're doing pretty well to even attempt 5 minutes. I think you've got to kind of back to perfectionism. You don't need to do it like someone else. It's going to be your private practice of hanging out with yourself. That's the way I like to see it. You're just hanging out. If your brain's active, cool. Your brain's active. If your body's feeling like fidgety, no worries. You don't have to sit cross-legged. You don't have to not itch or wriggle. It's all okay. There are no rules. It's just spending time, carving out time to hang out with yourself because you're important.
I think you're dead right. I think most meditation experts are basically full-time spiritual gurus who don't have jobs or kids.
Yeah.
Or partners,
great.
or
Well
stress. Conclusion for me, meditation shouldn't have a time expectation on it. And finding peace in that temple, in that room that is your body, is not the goal to start with. And if you think about it, it's not about meditating necessarily at a certain point. The goal is to always be conscious and always be connected to your body and always be conscious of what's in the room that is your body and have the ability to let it go. So meditation, it's not even really a thing. It's just how we should be living, ideally. It's just consciousness. The thing that ruins the journey to consciousness with most people is their expectation of meditation, the demands they put on themselves to find peace in the moment to start with. So if you can get rid of the expectations, if you can be kind to yourself, just hang out in the room, like you said, and then become more and more conscious about what's going on in your process. First day, I open the door. Oh my God, that's painful. I don't really want to be here. But fine, I listen, I hear the pain. I feel the overwhelm. Tomorrow I'm going to go back and open the door and maybe spend a bit longer hanging out and not attaching and doing what I said before. Keep taking a step above and witnessing whatever's there. Whatever the voice is, whatever the feelings are, you're not attaching to the voices, you're not attaching to the feelings, you're not believing the stories. You're just taking a step up and being conscious of what's happening. Knowing that while you're in that seat of consciousness, no matter how brief it is, the stuff that you're witnessing is leaving.
Yeah.
It's releasing. So you're doing something. As long as you're not attaching to the frustration and the anger and believing the stories, it's going because it doesn't want to be there. It's just energy and it will release. You're clearing out the room just by opening the door and not attaching to the stuff that's in it.
And I want to conclude on something we haven't talked about, which I think is massive. If you feel that there's stuff in there that keeps bombarding you, so if every time to continue this analogy, if every time you open the door, anxiety comes in and the anxious thoughts ramp your body up so that you can't even sit still. It's like, I can't do this. Okay, we've got an issue with anxiety or we've got an issue with fear. So maybe it's too big right now for you to sit and let it wash over you. The room is bulging with anxiety. So that's when you do the inner work that we do with our clients. It's about your past. It's about your inner child. It's about your inner teenager. If that anxiety is all that happens every time you open the door, where is that anxiety from? How old is the part of you that is feeling that? What were the experiences that led to you repressing that anxiety when you were little or when you were a teenager? And you need to go back and do the work to heal it. I think meditation is a tool to releasing emotions, but for me, it's the icing on the cake. As always, I think the first step has to be the heavy lifting or the shit shoveling, as my friend called it, of your past, your childhood. So unpacking that with other tools such as inner parenting that can help you find or grow that sense of safety in your own body, and then come back to meditation. But if you can't do it, that's okay. Forget it. I didn't do meditation for 25 years and then came back to it because I had to do the inner work first. So if it feels really unbearable, that's okay. You just need to do other work first. So don't feel like meditation is an essential tool in your toolkit. It's not. It's a really nice to have. For me, it's the icing on the cake. We've given you a few examples of how you can perhaps enhance that process or get more familiar with it. But if it really, really feels hard, then it's not right for you right now.
I think my ability to meditate is a side effect of the work I've done.
Totally.
And actually, just thinking about the analogy, a lot of the work that I do with people is essentially going into that room with them.
Yeah.
And holding them, creating the space, watching them attach, watching them with their stories, helping them bypass all those coping mechanisms and that armor, and supporting them through that process. So when they finished leaving, when they finished working with me, they can go and do the process on their own.
Totally. And I don't believe that you can do inner child work, at least at the beginning, on your own. You can't create the safety for yourself to go back to something that's been repressed for a very good reason. You have to do it with someone else. So yeah, don't worry if it's impossible. It's impossible for a reason. You're not in a relaxed body for a reason. Remember that being dysregulated is a biologically normal response to a perceived threat. If you don't feel relaxed, you can't just snap your fingers and feel relaxed. It means that something happened to you in the past that has made you feel dysregulated in a way to feel in control, because you didn't feel in control. You felt powerless. So we have to unpack that first. We have to heal the reasons that you felt unsafe. That's always got to be the beginning step. If what we discussed was helpful, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. For more of the same, check out my social media, The Inner Child Healing Expert, or to work with me, go to laviniabrown.com.
You can find me on andrewlynn.net or Life Coach for Dads on Instagram. We work with both individuals and couples. If there are any topics you'd like us to cover, please reach out. Thanks for listening.